Hi, I'm Laura from Madeline Tosh, and this is Beata.
Hi.
So we're here together to talk about a collaboration that we have put together. Beata's a genius. And just before we get started and talking about the collaboration, we'll just introduce ourselves a little bit more. I have been owner of Madeline Tosh for almost 3 years, about 2.5 years. And where we're at with Madeline Tosh is we are just really, really focused on continuing the legacy of incredible colors, really beautiful luxury fibers, dyed in the USA. So we're dyed. We have a team in Fort Worth, Texas that dyes all of our colors. We have over 2,000 colors that we've put together. And a major focus, and one of the things that our predominantly women-run team focuses on is collaborating with other women-owned businesses. So, and using, the legacy of Madeline Tosh and the reach of Madeline Tosh to help support and help strengthen our yarn industry and the hand knitting industry.
My name is Beata. I am the owner of Hedgehog Fibers. We are located in Ireland, in Cork. So we're more Europe-based, and we also hand dye yarn, and that's the most fun part of what we do. We love colors, we love soft yarns. I personally love knitting, and I knit every day, so it's not only my work, but it's also my passion. And I started Hedgehog Fibers in 2008, and we have grown slowly but steadily over the years. And now we have a little team here, and it's a lot of fun to produce beautiful yarns for a lot of retailers, and also we sell through our own website. So yeah, and we're super excited about what we have cooking.
How did we meet? Do you remember?
You came to visit. I think that's the first time we met. How long ago was that, though? That was a good few years ago now, I'd say.
It was the H&H before the pandemic hit.
Yeah.
So I think it was March. Yeah. And I just unabashedly, I don't know if that's the right word, but just decided I'm like, hey, I'm going to be in Ireland, for 24 hours. Like, can I come visit you? Like, I was so enamored, and just loved and this was before we bought Madeline Tosh. And that was the irony, because I remember you were the first person that I told that we purchased the business. It's been a really fun challenge. I mean, I'm not like you. I'm not a dyer. I'm not a color savant the way you are. So it's more about the business side of it and the strategy and the collaboration. Like, that's the really fun part. Ooh, Beata, talk about Tweety.
Tweety. How did we come up with Tweety? When we dye yarn, right, and it comes in skeins, and for the dye process to not mess up the yarn completely and get it all tangled, they have to be tied in several places. And for presentation purposes, we take those ties off. We just leave two. So over the years, I've been convincing all of my team to put those in a special bin. And we've been saving those for years. And I always thought, I'll find somebody who can process this. I want this process, and I want to make this into yarn again, because they look so good. I don't know if you can see on camera, but this is what it looks like, the shred. It looks so good. And I always thought that it was such a waste to throw this away, because it was all colorful and hand dyed and all this. So we've been saving it for years and years, and finally I found somebody who can process the waste. And I think working towards a no waste company, no waste business, or minimizing all our waste and recycling everything we possibly can, while being a biodegradable, renewable resource. But even still, I think we can do better than that and then just throw it away. So I think Tweety is a great way of recycling, and I always strive to make the business as waste free as possible.
Is it done in Ireland or it's done in the UK, right?
UK, yeah.
Okay. Wow.
UK.
And how long have you been making Tweety? It's been 2 years?
It's been 2 years, I think so. Yeah.
And
yeah.
you just go through different color, right? So like you create the tweeds and then you decide on a base color.
The undyed Tweety, the OG, the original. We keep making that because there's a lot of demand.
Okay.
So we kind of keep making that. We have a noir, which is a black base, and then we have other things in the making.
And it's DK weight, right?
Hey, wait. You get it. It may look a little bit skinny, but it blooms beautifully after washing. So you have to knit your swatch. Go with the needle recommended. Even you might think, oh, it looks a bit gapey. Wash it. It blooms beautifully, which means there's a bit of oil residue on the yarn. And by washing, you remove that and it literally puffs up and opens up and it gets much loftier.
I mean, I remember when I took over Tosh, when we bought Tosh, I immediately was like, let's do some stuff together. And we contacted Melanie Berg, who was a friend of ours, and had her do a design. Because I'm like, let's show the world that businesses can work together, right? And that, there's a big, huge ocean. There's a big, huge pie. It's not, a set size. And we did a collaboration with a design with Melanie Berg, with your yarn and our yarn. And then you came to us and said, well, how about Tweety? How about a Tweety collaboration? Will you remind me, what was going through your head then?
Well, I figured since you guys also make hand-dyed yarn, your waist is probably pretty sweet too.
Yes.
And good waist makes good Tweety.
You sent us, or I think Lynn sent us a note and said, hey, how much waste do you have?
How much waste do you have? Because we got to work in certain quantities. Yeah, you sent it over. And
then you guys did the shredding and we didn't quite have, in full transparency, I think that we have about 90% of what you needed.
You had so. Okay. We supplemented a little bit. And we do all the shredding in house too. So we get to go through it and we kind of mix it up to make sure that it's the right kind of color proportions. So that's a lot of fun too.
And then we worked together on what we were going to have, because it's factory dyed, right? They dye it at the mill.
They dye it in, is it in wool? So it's before it's spun, it's dyed. So the fiber,
the tops.
So we had to make sure that the color of the fiber that we want is what they're going to make us.
We, on the Tosh side, brainstormed and we're like, what colors do we think that we'd want this to be as the base? And so we sent over 2 of our kind of favorite colors that we thought would be a good fit, that were a little bit edgy. The yellow that came out, is that the one that you said is your favorite?
For sure.
Digging it. We don't have that much of it, right? We think it's probably going to sell out pretty quickly. Yeah. Show it.
We've been talking about this awesome yellowy green.
Yes. Yeah. It's so crazy.
It's so cool. I love it.
We've gone back and forth about, how do we package this? And so it's Hedgehog Tweety.
It's 12.5% Madeline Tosh waist. Ta-da! Yarn Avalanche. This is the second color, the blue.
I love the blue. Everybody else is going crazy for the yellow, but I love that blue. I made a bandana already, so I worked with it. And it's so fun to knit.
Every stitch has a different color speck in it. It's so cool.
Well, and the emotional, sentimental side of me, every little stitch, when there was a little nub of the tweed, I'm like, oh my God, this came from Texas.
Yeah, no, they came out awesome. I'm really excited for this.
Yeah. And read the names off.
Blue one is Future Reflections.
Yeah.
And yellow is Dreaming in Light.
So we are going to be selling, starting on August 1st, we will be selling this yarn on MadelineTosh.com You're going to be selling some of it on hedgehogfibers.com.
A little bit, yeah, we just have a little bit.
We reached out to a number of shops that sell Madeline Tosh and asked them if they wanted to buy this directly from you, you know, a small amount for their store or for their shop owners. So I've got on my list here for Yarn's Sake in Beaverton, Oregon, Woolen Company in Illinois, Summer Flugen. They're in Copenhagen. I've been to that shop. It's amazing. I've been to Woolen Company too, and that's incredible. Simply Socks in Fort Wayne, Indiana, Yarn Over Berlin in Berlin, the Observatory Shop in New York, Hill Country, Suzanne, a really good friend of mine in Austin, and then Fancy Tiger in Denver, Colorado. So for any of you guys out there, like call, you know, it's super, super important. Madeline Tosh and Hedgehog, I mean, of course, we're both going to have this available on our sites, but for our industry to exist and for our world to exist, we all have to go to our local yarn shops. We don't exist. Beata and I don't exist without the local yarn shops. So please go to the shops first. And then if they're out or you can't find it or you can't get it from somebody, then you come to us. And of course, Jimmy Bean's Wool is going to carry some as well. Or a lot of the shops that are carrying it have contributed a free pattern. So there'll be a booklet of free patterns. Beata, you've got some free patterns on your site to use with it. So starting on August 1st, there will be a collection of patterns from the shops, the local yarn shops that we just mentioned. And then there'll be a fast follow after that with a couple other designs as well. So there are tons of patterns, tons of support. I'm so flattered and honored that you would want to do this with us, and really grateful.
So I was fully on board and they just came out wonderful.
Yeah, well, hopefully people love it and it gets out into the universe.